Before we look at specific passages in the etude, we're going to practice a couple scale patterns that will help you learn this piece at a much faster rate. So first we're going to take an A major scale. This etude is in A major, so we're going to start with playing an A major scale. Instead of just playing it your normal Instead of just playing that pattern, we're going to put a couple more twists and turns in the scale to help us learn more about the scale. So first we're going to do 1 to 5. So this is 1, scale degree 1, so the A up to an E in the scale. And we're going to repeat this as long as we need. Once you get that nice and even, all slurred all the way through, then we're going to go up to the second scale degree, so to the B. We pass through the A at the octave and play up to the B, like so. Now we'll go up to scale degree 6. So that was up to a high F sharp, and now we'll do the full 2 octaves. All in straight 16th notes, all slurred, listening for evenness in the rhythm, evenness in the tone, all the way through. If you feel comfortable with it at that tempo, you can try and increase the tempo every day. The faster that you can get this scale played accurately, the better off you'll be when you try and learn the etude. Next, let's take a look at measure 5. In measure 5, we have what's called an A major triad that starts the first 2 beats of that bar. And then in the second half of the bar is what we call an E dominant 7th chord. Okay, these triads are very common and they occur throughout the piece in various combinations. So in order to prepare to play that, we're going to work on the A major triad and then also on the E dominant 7. So first, let's take a look at this exercise with just the straight A major triad throughout the range of the flute. We're going to take it about 1 E and 2 E, and you can try it tongued first. So it is. Next, let's try it slurred. If you have trouble getting out the high E, it's a notoriously bad note on the flute, and it tends to want to crack quite frequently. You can always take off the pinky to play the high E natural, so you'd have 1, 2, 1, 2, thumb, and no pinky on that E. You have to make sure that you have put the pinky back down for the high A, but then you can just take it off again for the E below it. So here it is again, slurred a little faster. Next, we're going to look at a more complicated pattern that goes with that A major triad again. And slurred. You could also do various tonguing patterns with this, so I could try slur 2, tongue 2. It's important that you spend time mastering this triad figure. In whatever pattern that you're going to work with, it's important that the fingers really know those 3 notes. There are only A, C sharp, and E in the various octaves, but we have to know them inside and out so that we can then apply them to our piece. Next, we're going to look at the E dominant 7th chord. So this E chord has actually 4 notes in it. You have the E, G sharp, B, and D. Okay, so the E, G sharp, B, That's your major triad, your E major triad. And that D that we add to it, that fourth note, is actually the seventh of this chord. So here's the exercise. A little faster. And all slurred. Practice this arpeggio in various tonguing patterns and try and increase the speed and without losing any of the accuracy or evenness in the rhythm and the tone. Next, we're going to look at a more complicated pattern of the E dominant seventh chord. And all slurred. Now that we've worked on these scales and arpeggios in A major, let's see how some of them work in the piece. You'll notice that the first bar we have is basically nothing but an A major scale. They put a D sharp in there for just a second, but the rest of it is all in A major. And we just should be able to play that more fluidly by working on that A major scale. Now measure 2 is where our dominant seventh chord comes in. If you see that it starts on that G sharp in the second bar, but then really the arpeggio begins on that high D. So D, B, G sharp, E, D, B, G sharp, E. So this is E and a 2, E and a 3. And I would just practice it in that rhythm like that. E and a 2, E and a 3, and E and a 4, E and a 1. Practicing this way will give you the rhythmic framework with which to put these notes into the piece. Let's look at the next example in progress. So we're going to start on bar 3 and continue on again with that E and a 2, E and a 3, E and a 4, E and a 1. You don't want there to take any time when you're going from that low G in the second bar or in the fourth bar, that low G on the first beat. You don't want to take any time there going from that note to the high D. So really think of it in a rhythmic context. So it's 1 and a 2, E and a 3, E and a 4, E and a 1, E and a 2, E and a 3, E and a 4, E and a 1. Keep it always rhythmic, and if you need to take some extra time, play it slower as opposed to stopping the rhythm. Here it is a little bit slower from the beginning. 1 E and a 2 E and a ready and. So the counting for that would be 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. It's important that you get your fingers to play the rhythm. I emphasize, fingers need to know the rhythm just as much as your brain needs to know it. You have to really feel that rhythm in order to be able to play it accurately. The next tricky part about this etude are all the leaps that occur in the second part of this. In order to play these leaps elegantly and make sure that we're getting the correct notes in the correct octaves, I would first practice just getting to that higher note. So let's take a look at measure 8. In measure 8, we have that low A, C sharp up to the middle A, right? In order to play, again, this is just our A major triad that we're using that we practiced before. We need to just solidify that top A. So I ask my students to play that A with the best sound that they can. Find where that A is. Now I'm going to play the lower A, C sharp, and try and get back to that sound on that top A. Again, I'm playing it in rhythm. 1 E and. Practice that a couple times and then you might be able to play it a little bit closer to tempo. You don't want to rush through this and have that top A be in the wrong octave or not with a great sound. The same thing follows for that G sharp that's repeated in bar 9, the F sharp in bar 10, or the E in bar 11. The next excerpt that we're going to look at is in bar 14. Here we have another really wide leap between a B and a D, then an A and a C sharp, a B and a G sharp, etc., etc. To practice these, I would do them slowly but still in a rhythmic context. So we're going to start on beat 2 of bar 14. And I'm going to play 2 E and, 3 E and, 4 E and, 1. So I'm eliminating that last repeated note of each beat, starting on beat 2. I always try and end my practice on a beat, so any segment that you're going to do. Again, if you have trouble finding those top pitches and getting a great sound, find the sound first. So that first D. And then I'm going to play the two notes that lead up to the D. Your lips will have to move in order to make this exercise work. So if you watch my lips in practice measure 14, you'll notice that there's a lot of movement here. And it's necessary, in my opinion, to get those great sounds up in the high register, middle register, and low register. We've got to make some sort of movement either inside our mouth or with the actual lips. I prefer to use a technique where we're in an E position, a very neutral position for the lower notes, and then ooh forward with the lips for the higher notes. So here we have E, B, D. So they move up as we go up into the higher register. From the lower register to the high register, they're going to change. As you become more proficient at getting the lips to move, you'll notice that the tone gets better. But if you just play a D out of nowhere, your lips are probably in that forward position. You want to make sure that they're not squeezing down around the tone. You want to try and keep as much resonance in the tone as possible. And then for the lower notes, they're in a completely different position. It's just very different. So and I would practice these all the way through in succession, practicing 2 E N, 3 E N, 4 E N, 1 E N, 2 E N, like this. Once you're comfortable with this, you can add in the last note. So you're noticing that I'm not changing the rhythm. As I go through this, I'm trying to keep it 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1, very strictly all the way throughout. Finally, we're going to look at bar 26. Bar 26 is tricky because we have these octaves that start out at the beginning of each of these 16th note groups of 4 16th notes. So you see that we have E, E, F sharp, E, E, and then on the 4th beat we actually go E, D. Now all of these triads are, almost all of them are, we've already practiced in our arpeggios. So we have an A major arpeggio that starts on beat 1, Then it switches to a different arpeggio that we didn't learn on beat 2. Then we have, again on beat 3, there's another A major arpeggio. And on beat 4, we have that E dominant 7th. So these should be familiar to your fingers and use that to your advantage. So first, you're noticing that for the E octave, I'm moving my lips forward to get that to work. And I'm practicing 1 E and a 2, going 4 notes plus 1. I always practice plus 1 groupings. So, and the second beat to the third beat, third beat to the fourth beat, and the tricky one, so that one that's different in all of these. Keep working beat to beat throughout this exercise, and then you'll finally be able to put bigger groups together. So I'll put maybe 2 beats together going to the third beat. Still trying to keep that octave in time. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Then maybe I'll do 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. I'll try that one again. Then 4 E and a 1. And you can move through this progressively as you get better, put bigger groups together, maybe an entire bar, and then by the end you'll be able to play it all in time. Good luck with your practicing. If you have another piece that you'd like to request a video for, please send me a comment or an email, and I'd be happy to work on something for you.